wrote down everything he saw in his journal, which was kept hidden for a long time until one day someone went into his old collections and found it there after he died. He wrote down that he was flying north, and what he saw was a mountain range. So he went over to it, and after he crossed it, he said he saw this green valley with like a river or a stream running through it. As he got closer, he said he saw forests on the side of the mountain, and he also wrote down there should not be any green land here. He even said the light was very strange there, and he couldn't see the sun. He says he descends down and starts to see grass, and then in the distance he sees a huge animal. And at first he can't tell what it is, but as he gets closer, he claims he saw a mammoth. As he keeps flying, he sees building-like structures, and when he gets closer, he realizes it's a city. At this point, he was probably just in shock and disbelief because he said, "This is impossible. Like, there's no way this is happening right now." He said he reported everything back to base camp. And from what I've read, he wanted to share it with us, but the government wanted him to keep it confidential, so he couldn't. But on his own time, Richard came up with the hollow earth theory, that there is civilizations in the earth. He thinks the North and South Pole lead to a civilization inside the earth. His journal went public in 1965, and now there's so many different theories about this. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it could be real, or do you think it was just a made-up story? Comment down below.
It will be.
Hulu, how does a shark this size just disappear with a tracker on it?
They deleted it. It hasn't even been 2 hours. I reported that, let me show you. This shark swam from North America to Europe without surfacing the water once. And the only place that you can find that information, right here on my page, baby. So y'all tell me, is this a shark conspiracy theory, or have I stumbled on something that the scientists themselves can't explain? And TikTok, I'm about to hit 1 million followers. I think it's time we talk about that blue check mark, baby.
Hulu, how does a shark this size just disappear?
Is the answer to one of the most brutal, unsolved murders of all time Katy Perry? Is she actually murdered child pageant star JonBenet Ramsey?
Well, blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Wait, no.
Theorist Dave Johnson started this conspiracy because he claims he knows from sources close to the crime that JonBenet, who happens to look a lot like Katy Perry, was never murdered, and it was all a lie. The theory goes that JonBenet's parents faked her death and the ransom note because they wanted to get her away from the child pageant scene because she already had a few known creepy men fixating on her, P-words, and people trying to take advantage of her, and wanted to use her talent and star quality when she was older. Even their parents look eerily similar if they just got older and aged a bit. How does this photo look like both of them at the same time? To throw people off her scent because Katy would insinuate that people would compare her to JonBenet when she was younger, she for some reason made it clear that she was no stage kid and JonBenet Ramsey wasn't waiting to burst out of her. They would both be in their 30s right now, and they would both primarily sing Christian music, and a lot of people say maybe they can't find the culprit to the murder because it never happened. Before I share what Katy Perry has to say about this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests you want to see next.
Blink twice.
Have you ever heard the creepiest conspiracy theory that a lot of celebrities have been on this planet for a lot longer than you think and have lived multiple lives? The theory goes that people in the past who garnered enough money, fame, or status were given the opportunity to be inducted into the Illuminati or the New World Order and have their DNA and memory extracted before they died and then saved so they can make clones of them and live over and over again. Others say vampires or time travelers, but the most popular theory is the multiple lives theory. Now let's take a look at some examples. First is Mark Zuckerberg, who looks like the old king of Spain and Portugal who would definitely have the means to clone himself. Jennifer Lawrence looks like old Egyptian actress Zubaida Therwat. Jimmy Fallon looks like an old Marxist revolutionary leader. Michael Jackson has apparently already lived multiple lives, including a royal in Egypt. Jay-Z, this one gives me chills. Eddie Murphy. And apparently each time they come back, they're smarter, better, know the secrets to success, and can easily choose which life they want to live this time. Before I show the most shocking one, make sure you follow so you finally know what these other crazy celebrity conspiracy theories are and request which one you want to see next. The most shocking that's been debated by the public. Most brutal, unsolved murders of all time, Katy Perry. Is she actually murdered child pageant star JonBenet Ramsey?
Blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Theorist Dave Johnson started this conspiracy because he claims he knows from sources close to the crime that JonBenet, who happens to look a lot like Katy Perry, was never murdered and it was all a lie. The theory goes that JonBenet's parents faked her death and the ransom note because they wanted to get her away from the child pageant scene because she already had a few known creepy men fixating on her, P-words, and people trying to take advantage of her and wanted to use her talent and star quality when she was older. Even their parents look eerily similar if they just got older and aged a bit. How does this photo look like both of them at the same time? To throw people off her scent because Katy would insinuate that people would compare her to JonBenet when she was younger, she for some reason made it clear that she was no stage kid and JonBenet. Have you ever heard the creepiest conspiracy theory that a lot of celebrities have been on this planet for a lot longer than you think and have lived multiple lives? The theory goes that people in the past who garnered enough money, fame, or status were given the opportunity to be inducted into the Illuminati or the New World Order and have their DNA and memory extracted before they died and then saved so they can make clones of them and live over and over again. Others say vampires or time travelers, but the most popular theory is the multiple lives theory. Now let's take a look at some examples. First is Mark Zuckerberg, who looks like the old king of Spain and Portugal who would definitely have the means to clone himself.
No matter how old you are, they have always told us we only explore 5% of the ocean. That's not true. It's not that we don't want to explore what's in the ocean or that we don't have the technology. It's because for the majority of the 20th century, all we did was ocean exploration. Because the NACA, aka NASA, which was established in 1915, found things in the ocean that they did not want to return to. But what could it possibly be? Could it be aliens? Could the ocean be another entrance to the hollow earth? Could it be an advanced species? Or could it be dangerous animals that we just do not have enough information on to study? Either way, with the world being made up of...
Have you...
What's the scariest theory known to man? We are actually the most advanced beings in the universe right now, and the fear of invading aliens taking our planet for resources is actually just the fear of what we will become. John Douglas, a former chief of the FBI's elite serial crime unit and the author of Mindhunters, says, "A very conservative estimate is that there are between 35 and 50 active serial killers in the United States at any given."
After this, there is no turning back.
The biggest lie in history, at least if a lie could be measured by money. And that is because it is a lie two specific companies would love you to believe. Unfortunately, many say there may be nothing we can do to fix this lie. And the lie is that there is a world's richest person. Currently, this richest person is Elon Musk. And I'll show you why some of the darkest organizations want you to believe this. According to Forbes, people like Elon and Jeff Bezos are the world's richest people. But they can only list people whose assets are visible or public knowledge. Try as you might, there are people and organizations with assets so secret it is impossible to calculate their wealth. And since wealth is unfortunately power, this is a problem. For example, there is no way to know the worth of Vladimir Putin or the Saudi family. People can give estimates like saying they're worth $1.4 trillion, but this is nothing more than a guess. Knowing that assets can be hidden leads us to these two organizations, BlackRock and Vanguard. And there is good reason many people say these companies run the world. And the strange part is that both of these companies are the biggest investor of the other. For many, this is a massive warning sign, especially since they own a huge stake in all the major news networks. This includes Fox and CNN. And on a side note, they would seem to profit from the rhetoric that keeps us divided, along with having major sway in what the networks can say. Big Pharma? Vanguard owns huge shares in Pfizer. Oil and gas? They hold Shell, even Microsoft. And the scariest part is that they hold majority voting power in many of their investments. So who is the owner of them? They are so heavily invested in each other, it's strange to call them two companies. A quick Google search and a legal probe will show you that nobody actually knows who owns them. And because the organization is private, nobody knows who is a member of the company, though Vanguard has said that BlackRock has a unique company structure, which doesn't sound sketchy at all. There is one very public figure, however, and this is Larry Fink. He loves working at deep levels in the government and has no political affiliation because he will go wherever the money flows. He tried being the secretary for Hillary Clinton and was brought on as an advisor for Trump. He plays both sides. We saw this as he tried for the position of secretary for the Biden administration. So with all this mystery around the BlackRock Vanguard group, who is the richest person? If we go back in history, we can see that the Rothschild family is one of BlackRock and Vanguard's biggest holders. And conspiracy theorists have had a heyday with the stories of this family over decades. Other shareholders include the Bush family and even the royal family of England. So though we may know the families tied to these organizations, we may never know who runs them. And these shady individuals clearly have a reason they want to keep it that way. Welcome to the Gleek.com channel as we reveal more about the world of money,
tracking people through microchips inserted into the vaccine. I mean, given what you and the Gates Foundation and your former wife Melinda have done to help, just save millions of people's lives around the world for vaccinations for polio, nearly wiping out polio. I mean, how do you deal with it when people have these ideas about it?
Well, I'm not sure I know how to get rid of it. Simple explanations are kind of fun to click on, and they seem to spread and, fill some, okay, there must be, rather than this complex biology, maybe there's just some bad person behind this. We've given billions for vaccines and saved millions of lives. If you just kind of invert that and say, no, we're, trying to make money from vaccines and, not trying to save lives, that's, a popular conspiracy theory.
There are people going on beneath us. There is a theory that there are deep underground bases that connects all of the United States, as well as every continent on the planet, using underground tunnels. It is also said that horrible things happen in these tunnels. The underground bases are also said to be extremely advanced, using a super fast train to get around. Well, Elon Musk recently started a tunneling company, which mysteriously got discontinued. Was it because they discovered something underground? Something that we humans were not meant to find? That is why people wonder what is really going on beneath.
Stranger Things is actually based of crazy real-life events. Proof 1. The Montauk Project. This is what Hawkins' lab is based on. It was a government project where they experimented using psychological warfare techniques, like in Stranger Things. Proof 2. MKUltra. Sidney Gottlieb is who Martin Brenner is based on. MKUltra was an illegal human experimentation program in the 50s. Their goal was to create mind-controlled drugs with torture methods. MKUltra was a brutal attempt to harness psychokinetic powers. Proof 3. Nina Kulagina experimented on for her advanced psychokinesis abilities in Russia. Objects moved around her, and she was angry, which inspired 11. Proof for unexplained red lights in the ocean. Taken by a pilot over the Pacific Ocean, these red lights were a mystery. They look like the underwater upside-down gateway. Last proof, the unidentified Amarillo object. Demogorgon-type creature spotted on CCTV.